been a
Shut
wild
up,
week.
Kyle.
Man, my name's not Kyle. Easy
Well,
going.
Kyle said igloo connection. I love you,
So,
Kyle.
so I'm amped up. I'm amped up, bro. We got TNT episode 26. It's crazy how fast, how we started this, man. It's almost been an entire year since we started TNT, and it's been a game changer. We didn't really know what we were going to do with this, but we knew that we had good value. We know that some of the life battles that we've been kind of enduring over the past year and a half of business and life, and just being, building leaders and becoming leaders. We have value that's gonna help the entrepreneurial world. It's gonna help just people in life in general. Um, so I'm excited, man, and some of the topics that we were talking about today. What do we got here? We got training for leadership. I guess eh, well, training for leadership and mental state, physical state. So I guess the
Yes.
training for leadership is definitely where I'd like to start,
Yeah.
um, because it, just getting into this whole just getting into the whole personal development kind of area in my life has been a game changer. And you know kind of the thing that stood out for me most when I thought about this topic was like, I work in the oil field, right? And I've
Yeah.
been working for the man for such a long time, and all I seem to be surrounded by, and you know what it's like to have a boss, right? Everybody
Yeah.
seems to be interested in becoming a boss, but nobody really understands the aspects of becoming a leader. And those are two different, completely different things, right? One has a lot more ego involved, and the other not so much. It's more like working together with people. And leadership is really setting the bar and working with people rather than coming from up here and looking down, right? And
Yeah.
so it took me some time to kind of differentiate the two and understand, which would be better. Would it be better to come from a leadership standpoint, or would it be better to, be a boss and have that, you know, that pride of ownership as a boss, right? And, then I kind of reflect, like, I have never really, being an employee for such a long time, since I was like 14, I've never really appreciated, being told what to do, from like the aspect of, of a boss, rather than,
Yeah.
you know, coming from somebody, I've worked around in this business for a year and a half now, and I'm starting to see these leadership qualities start to come out, and over time being developed and enhanced. And I'm starting to see this as like, okay, it's pretty cool being an owner of your own business, because kind of you have to take ownership in everything you do like a boss. Um, but the way that it works is that you have to work together, right? We work in the trenches together, and it's just been a pretty exciting experience, just becoming more leadership minded rather than more of a boss mentality. So I don't know. It takes a lot of things, a lot of developing to become more of a leader
Yeah.
than a boss, right? There's a lot of things that we can speak on, and I think one of the biggest things is having awareness. I think dropping the ego and having awareness for which direction you want to go in, really.
Yeah. Awareness is good, and awareness of the different personalities and the different people that you're gonna kind of go up against that come into your life. And I'm sure that's going back to what you said about a boss and a leader. Like, boss is more of a title, and leader is more of like it's almost like a
Lifestyle.
leadership is life, but leadership is something like you evolve into it organically. It's nothing that you get that's given to you. You earn leadership,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. You earn leadership. Leadership. Uh, I think I'm going to go with three qualities that you develop that help you develop into a leader. Letting action be your coach. Taking action in things that are attached to a vision that you have, a goal that you have, a purpose that you know that like my number one saying is, if you don't have a purpose, your mission is to find your purpose.
That's it.
Um,
That's
and
huge.
you know what I mean? Your mission is to find your purpose. And if you're in an active involvement in a community of people, and you're in the community that you're developing, and you're letting action be your coach, and you're taking action in the field, at your craft, whatever that is. For us, it's network marketing. You know, we are very, very passionate about network marketing, because it's unlimited of what you can do in that space, because you have to be you have to become a leader in order you to become financially free, or if your vision is to be financially
You
free,
have
or
to
have
develop
uh,
those skills.
you have to develop those skills with, like we always talk about personal development,
Hey,
but
it's like,
action.
what is Frank Sochanek, okay? The guy's, he's done very well in our industry, and he talks about it more like a personal development program with a compensation plan, right?
Yeah,
That's the best part, right? I love what you said there, and I think that it's something to keep in mind for people that don't really like being don't like being told what to do, and being if this is an opportunity in life where somebody has a chance to level up in life, long term, right? It's a lifestyle, really, like the personal development aspect of it. But like, let's be honest, we've been chasing jobs for all our life, right? We've been chasing jobs, and really the mindset doesn't change. The mindset doesn't change until you're willing, and that's where the awareness comes in. Like, are you the ones that become leaders are the ones that are most aware of like how present they are in their life, if that
yeah,
makes sense. Like, I became aware that, okay, I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of my freaking life if I don't make a change, right? I'm gonna be working for the man for the rest of my life if I don't make a change. And
yeah,
that change is like, I got copious amounts of points that I could talk about on what those points, what those things are that needed to be changed. And the biggest thing is ego. I had to realize, and I'm so grateful for, the business school we have. Our mentor pointed out that, there are, the cash flow quadrant, right? Like, how are you supposed to take charge of your life if you're owned, if your life is owned, right? If your time is owned.
mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that I always thought that, I was doing things the right way, but really I never had that time, man. I never had that freedom. And as much as I would tell myself that, I wake up in the morning, put my boots on the same way I do every single day, just like every other person here, put my pants on the same way and my shirt the same way, and then hop in my truck and go and clock in every day. There really isn't, there's no pride in that for me. I mean, really, what's the whole goal for that, really?
Well, I've noticed, because I've kind of had not a similar job than you, Tristan, but I had a job where I was, I loved my job. I loved doing construction. I loved being with the fellas, and doing my thing, and climbing rocks and drilling and blasting and all that. I did 13 years of that. But what I found was there was no growth. You know what I mean? Like, talking about our careers, there's no growth in it. Like, you're capped, because you have your job every day. It's the same old stuff. It might be different view, and different, different things each day, but it's still the same. You're still doing the same stuff at the same goal at the end of the day, right? So there's no growth in it. When I started, because when I asked myself, because I always did network marketing, and through whenever I had jobs, what I've noticed with that type of business that we're in, that you have to serve others, and to become a leader. I believe another aspect, let's level it up, is to become a servant leader, and serving your people. There's something loud over there.
On this side?
Yeah, hello. Okay, no, you're good. You're good. Um, Becoming a servant leader, that's something I wasn't good at, serving other people. When I started reading it in depth with scripture, the scripture of the Bible, I learned that a lot of when you're reading through the different books, like, they talk about serving and serving and serving, and keep serving and keep serving, like even serving God for Him, because that's what He put us on this earth to do. and I know we're getting a little, I'm not getting preachy, I just want to talk about this. When I use those aspects in my life, um, I've noticed a big change in um, how people react to my leadership, how people take my leadership, how people take my mentorship. Because when I opened up my, like you said, you've said from the beginning, dropping the ego, being coachable, coachability, ingesting the constructiveness of your mentors, and taking the right mentorship is crucial. So taking the right mentorship, taking those crumbs of our mentors and eating them up and learning and learning and learning. It's like, well, you're giving me like you don't have to be doing this. Like example, Frank and Rick, Tanya. Tanya's a prime example of a servant leader, and she just keeps serving and serving and serving. I'm like, I just got to duplicate that. And it feels good when you serve other people. Like it's like the best feeling ever. The money doesn't even matter anymore, and the wealth doesn't even matter. It's just I just love making people happy, and I believe that when you can deliver a solution to people's lives where it helps them grow at that next level, that's where things change. And you're not doing it for yourself. There's no personal gain in it. You know what I mean? There is going to be a gain for us serving other people, but we're not going in with a mindset, okay, what am I going to get out of this? Instead of getting, you know what I mean? Like I go into these things now, it's like, okay, how can I serve you? Or how can I help you? Or how can I make your life better or more meaningful? Or how can I help you level up? You know what I mean? Because when I changed that tweak in my brain, like that selfishness, and I turned it into selflessness, um, my leadership grew. So then I became more aware of
Yeah.
different people. We were able to handle more different types of personalities, different faiths, whatever. And that changed vulnerability. Like we talked about vulnerability today, Trist. Like us being more vulnerable and less keeping the vulnerability in. You're like hiding something. You know what I mean? When you're keeping your vulnerability in, it's like almost like that's restricting you from growth.
Yeah, so
So
like
being
inside and outside of business, let's be broad with our viewers because some aren't in the business aspect of
yeah,
developing in life. When it really putting it plainly, what it comes down to, I think what you're trying to tell these people is that when being in wanting to level up, you need to have a certain level of awareness.
yeah,
You have to realize that your position and where you're at in life, you're not happy. Now, in order to get to that next level, you have to drop the ego. You have to be coachable. In order for you to see where you are isn't fulfilling, you have to be open for something else, right? It's
yeah,
not one of those, like even business aside. I mean, we could talk business all day because, quite honestly, this has been one of the most life-changing things in our life. Getting into
yeah.
it. I mean, you've done it 9 years. Since you were 18 years old, you've never been a part of something so amazing in your life. For me, just getting in, like at the start of
Different.
this,
Yeah.
it was different for sure. It was different. Now, what one of the things I wrote down is you have to be willing to do more listening than talking, right? That was one of the
2 years.
biggest things
Yeah.
for me. I knew everything, right? I knew everything. I knew that, and you know what's the toughest thing too, is that I've been making, and I've been making six figures as an employee for some time already, right? Like I came in with an ego, was like, it would be easy for me to just say, I'm doing well off. I'm doing well. I'm doing fine where I'm at, right? Like I could do this. Part of me was like, why do I need this really? Like, what is the point? Why do
Yeah.
I need to level up? Like I'm doing above average compared to many people. But I was at a point where, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't really matter because if you're not fulfilled, what's the point, right? It's what the point. There's a difference, and we speak about this, and it's valuable to know that there are two different types of people in this world. People that there's quality income and there's quantity of income, right? And you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have that quality income, then
Yeah.
it's very hard to be fulfilled. And Rick has dug this real deep into my mindset that I would way rather have great quality of income, which means that I would rather be what's the word, making money in my sleep, right? have money working harder than me.
Passive,
It's
yeah.
passive income, right? Income that's working without your active involvement is the goal. And it's not about the money, like get that out of your head, guys. It's about the freedom of the time because time is the coin of life. I think that
Yeah.
that's something that I think that's really
Hmm.
true when I hear that, like I don't care who you are, if you had all the time in the world, you'd be happy. So, when we talk about the quality of income, that is really just what's giving you the most time.
Yeah.
And that was like that made it so much more worth it to level up, right?
Yeah.
That made it so much more worth it to develop those skills, right?
Yeah.
Continue